Have you ever felt the magnetic pull of wide-open spaces, the allure of a night sky unspoiled by city lights, and the tranquility of a landscape where nature reigns supreme? It's the dream of peace and quiet that many city dwellers fantasize about. But could this dream be misleading? Is life in America's least populated state, Wyoming, as idyllic as it seems? Today, we're peeling back the picturesque veneer to reveal the top 10 reasons why living in Wyoming might just be tougher than you think. From brutal weather conditions to cultural deserts, we're digging deep into the aspects of Wyoming living that might have you reconsidering the charm of the cowboy state. Whether you're an adventurer at heart or a city soul through and through, hit subscribe and buckle up as we venture into the untold story of life in Wyoming. Number 10, it's too isolated. Imagine living in a place where your nearest neighbor is a mile away, and the closest major city is hundreds of miles of empty road ahead. The limited social opportunities in this state can weigh heavily on its residents, leading to a profound sense of isolation. It's a world far from the lively buzz of urban areas, where the scarcity of human interaction can be as stark as the expansive wilderness that surrounds you. For those who thrive in the thrum of city life, the distance from major urban centers is not just a barrier to entertainment, it's a blockade to career advancement and vibrant cultural experiences. The reality here is that your job options are as sparse as the population, and catching a live concert or networking event isn't just a cab ride away. It's a logistical challenge that requires significant planning. This isolation chips away at the romanticism of a disconnected life as technology, while helpful, can't bridge the gap. Video calls and instant messaging provide a band-aid solution to human contact, but fall short of the warm embrace of community and shared experiences. Regardless of how connected our online world becomes, it's clear that technology cannot fully replace the need for physical community, a truth that hits hard in the quiet expanse of the country's least populous state. Number 9. The weather can be brutal. Imagine stepping outside to be greeted by a wall of cold so fierce it takes your breath away. That's the norm for residents here, where winters are more than just a seasonal change, they're a conquest for the rugged. With temperatures regularly plummeting far below zero, the relentless cold isn't for the faint-hearted. The frosty season extends its icy grip long, transforming the landscape into a beautiful yet brutal tundra. But the cold is just the beginning. Strong winds barrel through, turning simple tasks like walking the dog or fetching the mail into Herculean efforts. These gales challenge even the sturdiest of structures and the wills of those living here. The warmth of a community might help ward off the chill, but when the wind howls like a pack of wolves outside your door, you feel the state's isolation in your very bones. And as the world grapples with the realities of climate change, the extreme weather here turns into a contentious talking point. Some argue the harshness and length of the winters stand as a testament to the planet's changing climate, while others remain unfazed, seeing the extremes as mere quirks of living in this sparsely populated haven. But make no mistake, every frigid day here strengthens the argument for global warming's profound impacts. Number 8. The struggle for work diversity. In this sparsely populated landscape, the economy runs on the veins of the earth and the fields that crest its surface. The dominance of mining and agriculture is undeniable, an echo of an older America where calloused hands and sunburnt necks defined work. But in today's digital age, the absence of variety in employment options is more than apparent. It's a limitation hard to ignore. Tech wizards and creative maestros looking for a vibrant startup scene or a collaborative art community will find the pickings slim. The very nature of the state's bedrock industries doesn't leave much room for the growth of Silicon Valley-esque endeavors or Broadway runways. The consequence? A starkly limited career trajectory for those who dream in code or paint with stardust. And so begins the exodus, a brain drain to regions boasting diverse economies and brighter neon lights of opportunity. This isn't just a loss of potential talent, it's a phenomenon that siphons dynamism and innovation from the state, funneling vigor and youth elsewhere as if obeying some unwritten economic law. It paints a portrait of a place holding firmly to its roots while inadvertently waving goodbye to its future. Number 7. Poor public transportation. Imagine living in a place where the roar of a car engine replaces the morning alarm, where your own set of wheels isn't just a convenience, it's a lifeline. In the least populous state, public transportation is as scarce as a bustling city square, forcing residents into a deep dependency on personal vehicles for the simplest of errands. The daily grind isn't just about the 9 to 5, it's about the drive there and back, with no other choice but to brave the elements behind the wheel. The almost mythical presence of public transit buses and trains in this vast expanse highlights an infrastructure that struggles to serve its scattered citizens. Here, the thought of hopping on a subway to catch a spontaneous night out in town is a distant dream. The reality? Mile after mile of solitary road, where the local wildlife outnumbers the passing cars, and where the nearest grocery store isn't just around the corner, it's over the hills and far away. For those striving to reduce their carbon footprint, the absence of a well-oiled public transport system hits hard. It's a deal breaker, a signal that perhaps this rugged lifestyle is suited for the self-reliant rather than the environmentally conscious city-goer. As the rest of the world strides towards greener ways to move masses, the enduring solitude of the state's expansive landscapes stands as a beautiful yet bittersweet testament to a bygone era of mobility. Number 6. Sparse healthcare services. Imagine living in a place where the nearest hospital is more than 100 miles away, and the local clinic has a staff you can count on one hand. In rural areas where the population is as sparse as the healthcare services, finding adequate medical care is more challenging than navigating the wilderness surrounding it. It's a stark reality that many face, with limited healthcare facilities that struggle to serve the handful of residents sprinkled across the vast landscape. Specialists? Forget it. Those seeking expert medical attention may find themselves embarking on a journey longer than some epic road trips. If you require specialized care or chronic condition management, you're likely to face a commute that isn't just inconvenient, it's downright discouraging. The phrase "nearest doctor" takes on a whole new meaning, often translating to a day's drive away, leaving residents in a perpetual state of healthcare uncertainty. Critics argue that this scarcity highlights a broader issue within the U.S. healthcare system, a system that seems to overlook the very citizens who might rely on it the most. It's a pressing concern that transcends mere inconvenience, prompting serious discussions about the country's approach to ensuring that every individual, no matter how remote their home, has access to essential healthcare services. Number 5. Educational limitations. Venturing into the realm of academics paints a stark picture in the least populous state. Equipped with a handful of educational institutions, options for nurturing intellectual growth, especially at the tertiary level, are markedly thin on the ground. Those dreaming of ivy-clad halls and bustling campus life may find that the ticket to a degree is also a ticket out of town. The disparity becomes more pronounced when looking at the resources available to local rural schools. A juggling act between stretched budgets and modest student numbers often leaves these educational outposts lagging behind their big city counterparts. High-tech laboratories, a diverse roster of elective courses, and extracurricular wonders remain just beyond reach, sparking concern over a widening educational divide. This educational gap mirrors a larger national conversation, one that questions the balance of opportunities afforded to young minds across America. It stirs a potent debate. Are we nurturing a generation conditioned by geographical fate, shackled by their zip code? For students in the least populous state, their scholastic journey navigates an obstacle course far from the egalitarian education dream. Number 4. The sparse populous state. In the vast stretches of the state, it's said that the buffalo outnumber the locals, illustrating the stark reality of underpopulation. The streets aren't bustling with crowds, but are instead dotted with ranches and untamed land where herds of cattle roam, unfettered by the constraints of city lines. The authenticity of the living Wild West is not without its own set of issues. Human-wildlife conflicts arise as the few residents share their space with the creatures of the plains. From wolves that wander a bit too close to homesteads to bison that decide the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, the line between civilization and wild territory blurs. This prevailing dynamic could easily fan the flames of a heated debate on wildlife conservation or highlight the irony of human encroachment. As protected lands fight to coexist with agricultural development, the state becomes a battleground for those advocating for the rights of nature against the needs of the sparse human population. Number 3. Cultural desolation. In the midst of the vast and majestic landscapes lies a void that cannot be filled by nature alone, a lack of cultural diversity and activities that leaves residents yearning for more. While the serenity of an untouched wilderness offers its own form of wonder, the absence of bustling marketplaces, artistic exhibitions, and culinary diversity can cast a shadow over the luminous beauty of the terrain. The state's homogeneity in entertainment and expression paints a monochrome picture that starkly contrasts with the vibrant mosaic found in more populous regions. Those who have tasted the urban bustle, with its symphony of foreign languages, street performers at every corner, and the daily serendipity of city life, might find the quietude here not peaceful, but bland. The quiet streets, devoid of the impromptu conversations and eclectic ambiances that characterize a city living, might too closely resemble the eerie stillness of an uninhabited realm, beautiful but desolate in its silence. For these veterans of the metropolitan hum, the state's placidness can be as jarring as a sudden muting of a colorful melody. This contrast marks a potential touchpoint on the broader discussion of America's rural-urban cultural divides. While urban areas are often celebrated as melting pots of diversity and innovation, rural regions, with their uniformity and traditions, offer a portrait of consistency that is both comforting and constricting. This dichotomy not only highlights the vast differences in lifestyle choices available across the nation, but also raises important questions about the value we place on cultural richness and the challenges of preserving the diverse tapestry that defines the human experience. Number 2. It's just nature mindset. Tucked away from the concrete sprawl, this scarcely populated state lures the wilderness lover with its siren call of open skies and boundless nature. To many, it sounds like an eternal camping adventure, a retreat from the clamor of city life. But the romance of living amid such unspoiled beauty often clashes with the reality of everyday needs. The abundance of untouched wilderness, as alluring as it is for weekend getaways, can be unfulfilling for those used to the conveniences of modern living. Wi-Fi that winks out, the near absence of next-day deliveries, not to mention the lack of spontaneity in grabbing a late-night bite from your favorite 24/7 diner. In this natural refuge, the trade-offs are keenly felt. Such conditions stir a complex debate about development versus preservation. While the vast landscapes serve as a poignant reminder of our responsibility towards Earth's remaining wilds, questions arise on sustainable human progress. Should we march on, converting these spaces into the next bustling satellite towns, or bow out gracefully, leaving the wild to reign? As we ponder this, the just nature mindset remains a divisive factor for potential dwellers and a fundamental dilemma for our times. Number 1, the small town mindset. In the sparse realms of America's least populous state, the principle of everyone knows everyone isn't just an adage, it's a way of life. This tight-knit tapestry weaves a community so closely that anonymity becomes a foreign concept, sparking a silent fear among those accustomed to the cloak of city living. Here, privacy is a rare commodity, and personal boundaries often blur, as your business can become everyone's topic at the local diner with the speed of a prairie wildfire. Yet this very aspect of cultural and ideological homogeneity, while fostering a sense of belonging for some, may prove stifling for others. The lack of diversity in thought and background isn't just about missing out on exotic cuisine or varied festivals. It's about feeling an outcast in your own home if your ideas diverge from the common thread. This sameness, as reassuring as a steady rhythm to some, can drum out the beat of change and progress to those dancing to a different tune. As we ponder the quaint charm of small-town life, it's crucial to balance this against the allure of city anonymity. The bustling metropolis, with its dynamic blend of cultures and constant reinvention, offers a stark contrast to the unwavering constancy found in our nation's underpopulated corners. It's in this debate that one's preference for a closely knit web of immediate community ties or the freedom to be an unknown face in the crowd truly comes into sharp relief. In conclusion, our exploration of the challenges and characteristics of the least populous state has uncovered a tapestry of factors that, for many, outweigh the quiet charm of an isolated life. From the relentless winters and over-reliance on your own set of wheels to the limited job market and scarcity of cultural vibes, it's clear that this state presents a life far removed from the hustle of modernity, one that doesn't resonate with everyone's ideals or needs. Yet in this vast expanse of untamed wilderness, the enduring spirit of tight-knit communities reminds us that for some, the intimacy of small-town living and the raw beauty of nature close at hand is exactly the sanctuary they seek from the world's chaos. If you've been captivated by the complexities of life in such a starkly beautiful and challenging environment, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more adventurous content here at Globe Trekking. Next up, join us as we venture into the heart of bustling metropolises in our video, The World's Most Dynamic Cities, where innovation meets heritage. Dive into the vibrant streets where tradition and future collide, offering a stark contrast to the tranquil solitude we've just navigated.